Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. We are here for Season 3 Division 1. It's F1 2019 for round 11 of the championship as we take in the Hungarian Grand Prix from Magna Nadezhd, better known of course as the Hungaroring. Good evening everyone, I am James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Saturday night, and now with most of the country being cooped up inside their own homes, hopefully I can bring you some great action out on track, and I know the drivers will try their damnedest to deliver you the best possible stream and the best possible commentary for myself here tonight. And I know how difficult it has been for everyone, especially in the UK over the last couple of days or so, especially now we are coming into lockdown phase essentially. Most of the world is also like that as well, and still my thoughts and prayers are still with everyone that is affected by this horrible coronavirus that is going about. Hopefully everyone will take the advice. Government has now put out public health campaigns on TV, so you might be able to see that here in the UK. Best advice, if you have got anybody that is outside right now, tell them to get in, tell them to get watching this stream, because I want to try and provide a bit of an hour and a half of normality for you here tonight. Straight into the action then. I'm not going to focus on the coronavirus too much. We're going to go into what happened last week, and it was Cantera who took the win last time out in Germany for round 10 of the championship in a very dramatic race, I've got to say, in Germany. An unlikely victory nonetheless, but Cantera hoping to make a back-to-back wins as we come here to Hungary. LRT Louis was well down the field after his tremendous run of form. Hopefully he can return to that way, and Alphatrix returned to some sort of normality, I think, in second place last time out in Germany, only downfounded I think by the penalties out on track. So what does that do to the standings, I hear you ask? Well, this is exactly what it does to the standings. Alphatrix still leads the way in the Ferrari on 156 points, with now in second LRT Louis in the Mercedes on 113, and Montana is in third on 105. The Division 1 champion not letting go of his crown too much. Cantera in fourth after his win on 96 points, with Verstappen in fifth on 89. Campbell is in sixth on 88, so just a point separating the two QVR drivers out on track. That is the Toros and the Red Bull, of course. While Luigi is in seventh on 73, so a bit of a jump down. Alonso in eighth, the Dutchman on 57 points, and then another bit of a spaced out gap to Bullet Boy. Now with a name change, CPI Bullet Boy, as you can see, he is ninth on 43 points. QVR Cohen is in 10th on 39 points, with Doom in 11th on 33, Xjari in 12th on... Larkin in 12th on 27. Then we've got Xjari in 13th on 22, but Schiaparelli is in 14th on 18, after that second place, of course, a couple of weekends ago. Toxic in 15th on 11. Now, I expect Toxic hopefully to do a bit better here tonight. He has been quite unlucky, I've got to say, in a couple of races this season. Hopefully we can see him back to his best. Little Blocks in 16th on 8 points, relatively new addition, so we should see him pick up a lot of points towards the end of the season. Decky, who hasn't attended for 4 races now, he's on 3 points in 17th. Racing Point, they are on points respectively with LR Ghost, and a very good signing, I've got to say, in Spag and Chips. He is now joined on a full-time basis, taking over the Toro Rosso. And at the bottom there, Spaghetti and Chips. Bit of a mouthful to say for me in commentary, so I'm just going to call him Spag in commentary. Hopefully he doesn't mind that. Constructor standings, Ferrari leading the way, with Mercedes in second on 147. McLaren is in third on 138 points, with Alfa Romeo in fourth on 129. Red Bull in 5th on 127, then a bit of a break to Toro Rosso in 6th on 99, Haas in 7th on 96 points, then we've got Renault in 8th on 95 points, Williams in 9th on 38, and Racing Point in 10th on 20 points. The only team, in fact, that has actually scored their points at the same race. Yeah. Bit of a weird one. Yeah, they've only scored 20 points out on track, so hopefully we do get to see them maybe come up into the standings here tonight. Looking through then your comments and having a look at what is going on in the comments section. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in. McCrew says, hello James, are you okay? I am okay. I'm doing fantastically well. I've got a tiny bit of a sore throat. Nothing more, nothing less, so don't worry about me at all. Hopefully I can provide you some great action out on track. I'm just looking at my Giants comment. Welcome to the rain division. I really hope we don't get rain here tonight. I want to see a dry race for once. I beg, can we get a dry race for once? That'd be fantastic. Good evening to Storm tuning in. Good evening to Bullet Boy also coming in and tuning in, and Don as well. J. Cole saying good evening, and McCrew saying it's a bit laggy. I do apologise. I'm going to just change round. It's probably because I've got my iPad right next to me and my phone right next to me, which is not the greatest idea. So I'm going to turn my phone off, which is not connected to Wi-Fi, and hopefully the signal might pick up as a result of that. My iPad is just behind me, so I will try and look at that at phases during tonight's stream. We are here, of course, at the Hungaroring. Magnal Nadadech is the track in question, and we've got 35 laps awaiting the drivers here on track tonight. Hungary normally produces a good race. I have seen in another league before where Montana fought off the attention to two other drivers in that league, and he went on to win in that. As for League of Europe, this is my first time, I think, commentating around Hungary, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. But 14 corners awaiting the drivers out on track. Only the two DRS zones. You can really only fit two DRS zones, I think, on this track as well. And given the complexity of the track, it will be great to see how everyone does out there. Pit straight is one on the DRS zones, and then down the hill towards turn 2, both within the first sector, the DRS zones, as they will be coming through. Obviously, there are quite a few corners that can really catch out drivers. It's not really a track for overtaking. Hopefully, though, we might be the exception rather than the rule here tonight in League of Europe Division 1. We've got about 3 minutes to go until the start of qualifying. As I say, hopefully you are enjoying this so far, and if you're brand new to League of Europe and you're just tuning in for a bit of a one-off and you've got nothing to do now on a Saturday, now that we're in lockdown, welcome. I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the action. Voted League of Europe's best commentator last season. A little bit of background about me, and if you want to follow me on Twitter as well, at B52Head is my at name on Twitter, my username on Twitter, at B52Head, if you want to try and get in touch with me. That's the self promotion done, I think, on the stream for me tonight. Looking at some of the comments that are coming through, Bullet Boy saying I'd laugh if it's a wet race. I will not laugh, I will cry if it's a wet race. And Larkin saying he's furiously rain dancing there as well. I'm furiously dry dancing, if I've got to be honest. We should be getting going very shortly indeed. We've got 17 drivers out on track tonight. LRT Louis, the latest one, just to join into the lobby. This should be a really good night of racing. And as I say, given the current circumstances and given our current climate, we hope to provide you League of Europe with in League of Europe with the best possible action out on track. Now, I know obviously it is hard for everyone out there. It is adapting to the new way of society and all of that, but one thing that doesn't change is the level of driving here in League of Europe, the level of talent that we've got in Division 1, the rain division as people call it now. I really would like to see a very clean, a very competitive and a very fair race out on track, and I think I speak for everyone on that. Looks like we are getting going then. Dead on 22. The drivers are now readying up within the lobby, so the 30-second countdown has now started. Do put your predictions, by the way, in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking here tonight It can be any support for your favourite driver. You can even support your favourite commentator if you want. If you really wanted to push the boat out, you can come in and give me some nice positive comments. But if you don't, then I won't take any offence to that either, because I'm here to do one job and one job only, and that is to commentate you through the action as we now get into the lobby. 18 minutes worth of qualifying, 50% race awaiting here around Hungary. I think it's 35 laps in terms of race distance. 2 stops I think quicker than 1 stop. I'll come to that though when we get into the formation lap. And Hungary, it is going to be quite tight, I think, this track. It is going to be very similar to Germany, what we saw in qualifying last week, where the grid will probably be quite condensed and not a lot of room for error around here as we get into that 18-minute session now, eventually. And it is a dry qualifying session, which, thank God, I'm happy about. Soft compound of tyres, mediums and hards available for all of the drivers out on track. Those are the 3 compound of tyres that are available. I will come on to that now and say that the soft compound of tyres may be, I think, the worst tyres to go on. As you can see, Waluigi quite nicely, we're just on board with him. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres now. He will be coming out to the pits as one of the first drivers, it seems. As now we get action out on track. There's a Red Bull and a McLaren leading the way, which only leads me to believe Montana takes the crown once again for being out first within qualifying. So Montana out first, and the defending champion of Division 1 coming into tonight. He is currently third in the standings on 105 points, just having a bit of a slide there through turn 2. But looking good out on track so far. As I say, do put your predictions down in the comments. It should be fascinating to hear what you guys make of the racing out on track tonight. We're already a minute into qualifying. No laps just set. Everyone has just came out the pits pretty much. Got about half a field out on track. And Montana running us through an out lap around here at the Hungaroring. Now this is the very tricky section on the corner, on the track. Turn 7 and 8. Very tricky chicane. Get a 1 foot wrong, pretty much you're going to either invalidate, run over the curb or half spin. It's essential that the driving around here is very, very crisp, and the laps around here should be very, very clean as well, because if you put 1 foot wrong around this track, it does really break out the errors just that little bit more, around here than compared to other tracks for Formula 1. Montana then, coming around the final 2 corners now, through 13 and then the exit of 14. Taking a very wide entrance into the final corner, but that's to prioritise the run onto his lap, and now opens up the DRS to come across the start-finish line, and he now runs down towards turn 1. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres, down into turn 1, heavy braking. He's missed the apex just a little bit there, but nicely through in towards turn 2 now. Fighting the back end through there. Now Montana on the run down towards turn 2. Just catches the curb on the right hand side, trying to prioritise the exit of the corner as much as possible. And that was quite nice through there for Montana. Now we're up the incline towards the end of the first sector and towards turn 5 out on track. 27.3 through the first sector for Montana out on track. Now through turn 5 out on track. Getting caught on that inside curb might just not necessarily bring you the best luck, but Montana's made that look quite easy through there, and he's invalidated. That's why I said putting a foot wrong around there is an absolute godsend, and I think Montana sadly has invalidated on this lap. We'll go on board then with Verstappen, who's just in behind him, running very high gears and actually going quite low on the upshifts towards the end of the middle sector there. 55 flat through the middle sector for Verstappen. Montana, I think, probably not going to be happy with his invalidation. That was through the chicane where he had that, but Verstappen, yeah, you can see Montana coming into the pits. Verstappen now coming around the final corner. I think it'll be interesting to see what drivers can do here. To 117.2 just about from Verstappen across the line. We've got a racing point just coming in behind. That's Schiaparelli. Does he go quicker? No, he invalidated on his lap. It was a 17.7 anyway, so he wouldn't have gone quicker. Bullet Boy coming around the final couple of corners then. We'll see some of the lap times now start to unfold. Alphatrix goes quickest with the 116.7. Bullet Boy around the final corner will go third with this lap with a 17.4 out on track. And Larkin has gone fourth, just bettered there by Waluigi. 17.6 for Waluigi, Larkin with a 17.9. So early on, quite a split of difference, I think, in terms of the timings as X-Jerry now comes around the final corner. The Dutchman hopefully going to be looking out on track to set a good lap. He's on a set of soft compound of tyres, 18.1. Bit shabby, if I've got to be honest, on a set of soft compound of tyres. I think he will improve on that, obviously. Chapelet's invalidated again. Just right on board. We'll ride on board then with Campbell, who's just coming through turn 5, and I do believe he is on the lap now. 27.5, I think that was, through the first sector for Campbell. Getting caught on the apex as Doom has retired from the session. It's just around the final, the next couple of corners, and it's through actually turn 4. So Doom has actually retired on track through turn 4. Green flag's now enabled, and the yellow flag just ahead as well. I think that Bullet Boy just getting out of the way. Might have ran out of fuel there. Campbell though, 55.2 through the middle sector. Let's see how he gets on. We're right on board with Spag and Chips as well in the meantime. Campbell coming around the final couple of corners now through turn 13. Locking getting out of the way on the left-hand side there. Campbell now around the final 2 corners. Defending Division 2 champion, already won a race this season. Sticking a tyre onto the inside curb, never going to help his chances there. And it's a 17.64. Campbell will fly through back to Spag and Chips, who is now coming around the final corner. If that's your choice of dinner out on track, that is not your choice of dinner out. I think he reset the track there and goes into the pit lane, so definitely not happy with that one. And that unfortunately was caught on stream as well. But currently Alpha Trix on top with a 16.7, and he's a 10th up through the first sector, so it's not really that much of a difference if you do decide to go a bit of a long run in terms of the qualifying. I've normally seen drivers around here do 3-4 laps sometimes on a set of hard compound tyres, then switch late on either to a set of mediums or to a set of softs to try and banker that lap. 3.5 tenths up through the middle sector is Alpha Trix. This is looking like a 16.4. He runs miles wide though. That is not going to be a valid lap at all. I don't think he'll continue on with this. And he is actually coming around the final couple of corners. Whether this is going to be a valid lap or not remains to be seen. Alpha Trix around the final corner. He ran out wide, and it's a 16.4. I've got to question that lap, to be honest. I don't think that should have counted. 16.4 nonetheless, though, from Alpha Trix. He's currently to the top of the standings as Montana has gone quickest through the first sector, just saving up his EOS as he comes through the chicane, and that is how he takes the chicane very nicely indeed. Montana then on a lap. The Swiss man currently looking to go in and around Alpha Trix second with a 1:17.1, but Alpha Trix clearly been hitting the gym, I think, and he's miles clear of the rest of the field currently in qualifying as we approach the 7-minute marker out on track. There's the yellow flag in sector 1. I think that's just somebody coming out the pits there. Montana now coming through the final corner through turn 14 with Farman in the papaya coloured car, of course, coming around the final corner, and he'll go right in between Alpha Trix and Alonso. Even Montana goes second with a 16.9. Cantera, is he on a lap? Coming through the first sector, he is 27.2, but that's an invalidation right there from the Spaniard. So unfortunate for him, he's invalidated out on track. I think there was a car going into the pit lane there, but Caesar has invalidated out on track. So was Larkin, so was Bullet Boy. Anybody not deciding to invalidate out on track? We're right on board then with Toxic, who has just gone on board on a lap in the Williams, coming through turn 1. That's how you take turn 1. Very nice to the apex there. Now on the run down the hill towards turn 2, famously where the two Red Bulls made contact, of course, Verstappen and Ricciardo back in the day. Toxic coming through turn 2, now through turn 3 and up the hill towards turn 4. Very tricky first sector, especially this left-hander at the top of the hill. 27.2 through the first sector, in and around where you want to be, and that is an invalidation right there. I've just commentators cursed him, I know. So Toxic has picked up an invalidation, and that really is going to be the order of the day here in qualifying as we approach the halfway stage. More than half the field have got laps in. However, with the invalidations picking up out on track, it really is quite difficult to see where the drivers... it is quite different to see, I think, where the drivers are going wrong. Like Cantera there is just invalidated through the exit of turn 3, I do believe, on the way towards turn 4. Spag and Chips is back out on a lap. Toro Rosso man, recently signed, of course, to League of Europe, and hopefully he will be setting up a good performance here as he comes through the middle sector. He can go through the middle sector, 55.1. as he comes through turn 12 now. Lenny, of course, his real name in the F1 community. Spag now coming around the final couple of corners though, and he's now towards the final corner through turn 14. Spag looking good on this lap, could go in and around Verstappen Alonso sort of time. Yep, Spag across the line, actually goes 6th with a 1:17.6, so he goes quicker actually than Waluigi. That for a first lap in League of Europe is not too bad. Very good lap there, and he's just about 5 tenths behind his teammate as well, so nothing really to shout home about at all. Toxic back on a lap. We're right on board then with the Williams man as he comes through turn 5, really trying to fight the apex there. Toxic now into turn 6 and then through the chicane at 7. Looking very nice through there. Now to the left and right of 8 and 9. Coming towards the end of the middle sector then here out on track. And Toxic coming through turn 10, or turn 11 that was. 55.2 again through the middle sector for Toxic as he now comes towards turn 12. Now towards 13. Very tricky 90 degree, 180 degree hairpin here. You've got to try and go wide out and deep in, essentially. Deep into the apex, of course. Toxic now coming around the final couple of corners. Not really going to be in and around the top end of the field. He goes 7th, so just ahead of Spag there by about 400th of a second. Toxic going 7th out on track. While Waluigi, I do believe, has just gone 6th as well with a 1:17.5 out on track. I'm just trying to pick on board somebody that I haven't covered. Kvyat Cohen is on a lap. 54.9 through the middle sector. That's one of the quickest second sectors I've seen all night. Alpha Trick's still the one to beat as we are through halfway in qualifying. Alpha Trick's lead 16.4. Alonso second, Montana third, Campbell fourth, Verstappen fifth. But Cohen now around the final corner. The Red Bull, the Campbell's teammate, now around the final corner, going to be well up there with this and goes with a 17.2. Goes 6th. And McLaren in the meantime going around the final corner is Montana. He's just started off on a lap. Let's try and pick on board again with somebody that is on a lap. And Alpha Trix is on a lap. He comes through the middle sector, 10th down. He could find time in the final sector here. Again, choosing to go wide. I'm not sure what it is with the limit of turn 12, to be honest, that Alpha Trix likes. Again, not a invalid lap, which it should have been ideally. Alpha Trix now around the final corner. I think he'll probably find a little bit of time on that as well. Alpha Trix across the line. Yeah, 16.3. I knew he was going to find the time from the final couple of corners. So Alpha Trix with a 16.3 goes quicker. Whether he should be to the top of the standings, I think, remains debatable. I think his 2 laps through the turn 12 extensions especially, he's one of the only drivers I've seen on tonight do that. I think those laps should be invalid, to be honest. Montana 7 tenths up on him in the middle sector. Looks like he could go quicker here of Alpha Trix. He's actually on a set of medium compound tyres, so that is why he's going up with Alpha Trix's sort of lap here. Montana, defending Division 1 champion, coming around the final corner now. And the McLaren looking to go to the top spot. It's going to be the first 15 of the night, I do believe. Yeah, 15.8 puts the hammer down to Alpha Trix. And if Alpha Trix can find a very similar run to that, he will go, I think, about 3-4 tenths quicker ahead of Montana if he finds on that lap. Again, I'm being a little bit critical about the drivers, if I've got to be honest, out on track. Larkin, I don't think, is on a lap. He's on the same medium compound of tyres anyway. 17.9 for the Ferrari man as he comes through the final 2 corners. And yeah, Larkin is coming back into the pits. We've got Mercurial Caesar out on an out lap. Montana is the only other driver out on track, which means I can have a look through the comments section and see how you guys are doing on this fine Saturday evening, cooped up, I hope, in your bedrooms and not out in any of the pubs and clubs, because obviously they are all closed out. You wouldn't be outside because you'll be absolute fools if you were. As Caesar is on an out lap, we'll just have a look then at the comment section when I get this up, as I've now got the comment section out on track. Just looking through. McCrew saying, what is ILRT Louis doing? Yeah, ILRT Louis hasn't been out for a lap yet. The Mercedes man doing a bit of a weird strategy. There hasn't been any stewards reports or anything coming through. So hopefully we are going to see some great racing out on track. Spag coming in and also saying that it's going to be fully dry, which I think, hallelujah, praise the Lord, thank God we have got that out on track. Mercurial Caesar though has started off on a lap, and the Racing Point driver coming through towards turn 1. Bullet Boy, I think, has left the session, looking at the comment section as well. So if anybody has got Bullet Boy on his friends list, I can't give out an invite, sadly. I don't know why they don't allow you in spectate mode. But if somebody can give out Bullet Boy an invite, that'll be much appreciated. Season now coming towards the end of the first sector. 27.3 in and around what we've been seeing, but that's not in and around what we've been seeing through turn 4 and the exit of turn 4, and he spins as well. And I think that is Caesar's session pretty much over before it even started, to be honest. 18.5 is only going to be his best lap, I think. He will be able to get that into the pits for at least one lap. Don't think he'll get another lap though. But it is Montana to the top of the standings with a 15.8. Alpha Trix in second, Alonso third, Campbell fourth, Verstappen in fifth, Cohen in sixth, Bullet Boy in seventh, Waluigi in eighth, Toxic in ninth, Spag in 10th, with Larkin 11th, X-Jerry 12th, Caesar 13th, ILRT Louis, who I do believe has just came out of the pits. He has. So ILRT Louis now on a set of medium compound tyres. Maybe going to put pressure on Montana and Alpha Trix quite late on in the session. I like his strategy out on track, and I've been a big fan actually of ILRT Louis ever since he joined the League of Europe. Hopefully he can reclaim that form that we saw him. Bullet Boy has joined back, I think, on his same account, so Bullet Boy is back in, which I'm very glad to see. And he's currently in 7th position there, out on track actually. So we'll ride on board then with somebody that has started off on a lap, and it's Alonso that started off on a lap. The Dutchman now coming down towards, the German, sorry, coming down towards turn 2. Looking very nice, very tight to the apex there. On a set of medium compound tyres again, and he's invalidated. What is it when I go on board with people where you invalidate every single lap? Oh, the pressure of a commentator watching you, I think. That is what that is. Verstappen has just started off on a lap. Alpha Trix is also on a lap just ahead. I think Larkin is ahead of these guys as well. No, he's just behind. So we'll try and pick up on whoever is ahead of the curve, and it's Alpha Trix, I think, coming through the middle, the first couple of corners, I should say. Goodness me, I'm messing up every time. 26.9 through the first sector for Alpha Trix. Oh, very nice through there, and he's going to put maybe a bit of pressure here to Montana, and looking like he is not happy with this lap at all. Probably feeling how the tyres are going, and that is an invalidation. That could be this and next lap invalidated there for Alpha Trix. There's the yellow flag in sector 1. That is just coming out the pits, I do believe. And it's a racing point that is off the track. So that is Caesar that is off track, or Schiaparelli. No, it is Caesar. I was right. Go on board then. Oh, Campbell is round through turn 5. So Campbell round through turn 5. I think that's the end of his qualifying session right there. Verstappen has invalidated. Cohen through the first sector. Just try and pick up on somebody that might be on to the later stages of their lap. Toxic coming through the middle sector on a set of medium compound tyres. He's more than a second up on his time. I don't think he'll go and beat Montana's 15.8. Remains to be seen though. Toxic around the final corner, across the line now. Ooh, 16.1 goes second, but I don't think he'll remain that way for sure out on track. Alonso is back on a lap. He's coming through the middle sector now, is the German. He's in 4th currently with a 1:16.9. Could be the one to watch out for. ILRT Louis just comes in out of nowhere with a 15.4. ILRT Louis with a 15.4 puts the hammer down then on Alpha Trix. And Alpha Trix through the middle sector. He's a 10th up through the first sector. We'll catch on board with that lap in just a second. We'll run on board with others though as they come towards the line. Alonso coming around the final corner now. Currently in 5th. I don't think he'll end up that way at the end of this lap. Alonso coming around the final corner. Going to be well up there with the pace. He goes 3rd. Just a couple of hundredths behind Montana, who is out on a lap. He's on a set of soft compound of tyres, Montana, which is interesting. Alpha Trix is invalidated, so ILRT Louis, I think, might have pole position out on track. Verstappen, can he do anything? He's on a set of medium compound of tyres. 17.1, his current best. The Toro Rosso man now coming around the final corner as Waluigi goes up to 6th and 16.6. He came around the final corner there just ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen comes in and he goes 5th with a 16.3. Campbell on a lap, Cohen on a lap as well. We'll try and pick up on somebody that's coming around the final corner. To Larkin coming around the final corner. Then we'll go on board with Schiaparelli, who's still yet to set the lap. Larkin goes 8th. Schiaparelli around the final corner now has invalidated, so he'll be starting from the back of the grid. It was a 16.1 anyways from him. Spag and Chips coming around the final couple of corners. Campbell, though, coming around the final corner. Could want to really mix it up here. Campbell, the Scotsman, coming around the final corner. Will he go quicker? He does. It's a 16.2. Toro Rosso behind is Cohen. Spag, who goes with a 16.7, and Cohen with a 16.6. Bullet Boy across the line goes 5th with a 16.2. Very nice lap. It's only Alonso who is out on track, and he is off on a lap. So, qualifying over and done with. Well, there's no change into who's top, but ILRT Louis takes it by a comfortable 4/10 margin from Montana in second. The big shock, though, a major shock, Alpha Tricks on a set of hard compound tyres, the current leader of the championship, down in 8th place. Invalidation on his final lap cost him. He starts 8th. He's got it all to do here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. And we are now going towards the grid order, and I'll run you through the full grid order very shortly. I get XP, fantastic. I get XP for everything nowadays. Nice to see generosity. ILRT Louis 4/10 ahead of Montana in second. So Louis takes pole, Montana second, Alonso third, Toxic in fourth. Good qualifying from him. With Bullet Boy in fifth, Campbell sixth, Verstappen seventh, Alpha Tricks in eighth. Watch out for him on the hards. Waluigi in ninth, Cohen in 10th, and Larkin. Spag with a good lap there in 12th. Lexjari in 13th, Caesar in 14th. No time set by both Alfa Romeos, Cantera and Doom, or Schiaparelli in the Racing Point. No times at all set for those guys. So then, Hungaroring, the Hungarian Grand Prix about to begin here. 35 laps away, the drivers out on track. Looking at the conditions, it is going to be a dry race. It is quite cloudy though, which is going to favour the mediums and the hards more than the softs. Nobody, I don't think, on a set of soft compound of tyres. Nico coming in and saying Louis ate dinner, set pole. Pretty much, yeah, that's his mindset, I think, coming into tonight's race. Good to see Bullet Boy has rejoined as well. Doom saying, what did he do? That he crashed out, which is a shame. Alpha's Tricks doing on the first corner of Sector 3. I know, Doom, you were right to pick that up. I was right to pick that up as well. Track limit, I think, around there, around turn 12 especially, just has to be watched out for in the race, because I think the stewards haven't necessarily picked up on it, but if they have now and they're watching the streams, and if they have now, certainly, I don't think it's on. I don't think track extensions through turn 12 is on. If I see anybody do that, I will criticise them over the stream, because that's what I'm like nowadays. 35 laps then await the drivers out on track, and ILRT Louis off in Tokyo drifting style, Fast and Furious like, through down towards turn 1. Everyone then either on a set of mediums or hards. So let's speak about those strategies that I was on about in qualifying. Medium compound of tyres out on track. Going to be the quicker than the hard compound of tyres, and 9 out of the top 10 in fact are starting on mediums, worn mediums, albeit it's going to be at a tyre degradation rate of about 3-4% out on track. That's what I normally take most medium compound of tyres to do around every track here on the game. So 3-4% degradation on the medium compound of tyres, which should see these tyres lap 13, lap 14 I'm thinking, and then maybe go into a set of hards towards the end of the race. 2-stop may be a necessarily better strategy. Of course it is up to the drivers. Don't listen to me for strategy at all. You are not, I'm not out there out on track, so that I think is a good thing. If you are, however, Alpha Tricks, Larkin, Caesar, Cantera, Doom or Schiaparelli, the latter 5 especially, they're on a fresh set of the hard compound of tyres, so they're essentially going to be losing about a 3% degradation rate. 2-3%, it's about 2.5-3% per lap that they lose the tyres. So you would expect the hard compound tyres to get around lap 19, lap 20 I'm thinking, and then you'll see those guys pit in for a set of mediums, which will add up obviously to the tyre degradation rate of about 3-4% per lap for the mediums, and they'll get quite comfortably, I think, towards the end of the race. So just think of it this way, 10 laps around here, it's probably going to be about 40% on the tyres. So just think of it that way. my prediction, by the way, I'm going to go on for a bit of a prediction, as we've got a spin around turn 13, which I think is Schiaparelli. Coming around the final couple of corners now then. And my prediction, I'm going to go IRT maybe for the win. I think Alphatrix will finish second from 8th, an unpromising position for the Ferrari man out on track. And in third, let's go for Montana. Not playing, beating around the bush here out on track, but we are about to get set then for 5 red lights. Round 11 of the League of Europe Division 1 Championship is about to begin. All 5 lights are on. Very long hold on the lights, but it's lights out and away we go. And Louis gets a very good start from the line. Montana will have to cut off Alonso, who gets a better start than him. Toxic running in the slipstream as well. So could be 3 wide in the background, down towards turn 1. Alonso goes in on Montana, trying to get the move done. Everyone clean through turn 1. A little bit of a Constantino effect in behind, but everyone clean through turn 1, and Louis has got the break. For Montana in second, Alonso in third, Toxic in fourth. Pretty much everyone staying as they are. Looking further down the field, Alphatrix has lost the position to Verstappen off the start, so Alphatrix already beginning to lose ground, not in his comfort zone here at all. He's going forward with the defending champion out on track through turn 4 for the first time. Maybe the cleanest start I've seen all season here out on track. Very good to see. IRT Louis then leads into the chicane for the first time. Nobody has spun through turn 5, which is good to see. Bit of a Constantino effect on behind. I think that was Alphatrix and Larkin having a bit of a coming together with a bit of a Constantino, but IRT Louis is away and is already putting the pressure on the rest of the field as Montana goes massively wide there. Goodness me, Montana track extending for Switzerland right there. Alonso right on the back of him as a result. Toxic not too far off. Bullet Boy has rejoined the session as well. He's in 5th. Waluigi in 6th. We'll try and dissect that first lap in just a second. Let's have a look at the position gains then. Top 5 have stayed as they are. So IRT Louis leads 1.5 seconds at the end of lap 1 as Spag is into the pit lane. Spag into the pits, maybe for front wing change. Has he picked up any damage? I wonder. Yeah, looks like left side end plate might be affected on that car. So Spag into the pits early. He will be going to stop towards the end of the race, but it's IRT Louis who leads. Montana second, Alonso in third, Toxic in fourth, Bullet Boy in fifth. Everyone quite evenly spaced out. We'll watch further down the field though as Schiaparelli and Caesar go side by side down towards turn 2. The 2 racing points going very deep into the corner. Schiaparelli trying to get the traction around the outside, but the other racing point driver ahead just about to hang off, and Schiaparelli maybe weaving there slightly, not happy with his teammate there at all. Oh, Caesar nearly loses control of the car. Schiaparelli diving down the inside, and the 2 of them make contact. 2 racing points make contact. Schiaparelli now through on Caesar. He tried to go for a bit of a bold and brave move, I've got to be honest. Caesar eventually lets him through, was unsettled by the car. Caesar actually looked a bit outpaced, if I've got to be honest. Doom is right on the back of him already, so that's unfortunate. 2 racing points coming together, but out in front still, it's IRT Louis who leads. 1.9 seconds out on track from Montana in second, who loses more time actually. Now 2 seconds the gap as they come through turn 13. A lovely camera angle that through turn 13. IRT Louis leads. Montana second, Alonso in third. DRS will be enabled on the next lap around. Louis sets new fastest lap of the race of 1:19.3, and he's 2 seconds clear of Montana as they run down towards turn 1 once again. DRS now enabled. Campbell is right on the back of Waluigi for 6th and 7th position. The Red Bull man trying to get through on the Belgian, the Renault driver ahead in the banana coloured car. As Campbell now runs down towards turn 2. He's still on the back of him, quite evenly spaced out though. Don't think we'll see any overtakes until the pit straight here. But IRT Louis leads, 2.3 seconds. Montana second, Alonso third, Toxic in fourth. We're on board actually with the brakes. He is getting closer to the German just ahead of him. Alonso and Toxic out on track. He's just broken a little bit away now, Alonso, for third position as they run through the chicane once again on lap 3 out of 35. It's going to be about 45 minutes racing here in League of Europe Division 1. Of course, if you are just tuning in, you haven't really missed much. Spag has only been into the pits. We've seen Alphatrix lose a position early on. A very clean start though, and a very good race so far out on track, and hopefully it'll get even better by now, ensuring that the overtaking will be at a premium. IRT Louis leads. He just looks in a different league, I've got to be honest. Division 0, I think people will call him, to be in after this one. He leads the way, 2.3 seconds the gap from Montana in second, Alonso in third. Nobody close enough towards the front end. Verstappen on the back of Campbell could be quite close enough, but again, they're running a bit of a DRS train here. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, it's June, and I think that's at the final corner. He might have just misjudged that, similar to what we saw with Spag in qualifying, if you remember when we caught on board with him. I think June is into the pits as a result. He's probably got caught on the curb, either on the grass either on the outside of the corner or on the curb on the inside, and has spun in towards the pit lane, and that's why you've seen the Spaniard into the pits. Not his day, currently out on track, while Ouija, in the meantime, on the back of Bullet Boy. Toxic and Bullet Boy. Toxic just beginning to break away from Bullet Boy currently. It's a second the gap. It is enough to try and get out of the dirty air around here, while Ouija looking good though through there, as we see the tail enders come through the chicane. Alpha Tricks are trying to get onto the back of Verstappen. This is a real game-changing moment potentially in terms of the championship. RRT Louis, closest pursuer to Alpha Tricks, is currently out in front, and if it was to stop as it is, it won't. If it was to stop as it is, oh, a little bit of end plate damage, and Bullet Boy is out of the race. Bullet Boy is out of the race in dramatic fashion, and a VSC has been deployed, and goodness knows what happened there. It looked like he just got out of control on the outside of turn 12, has gone straight into the wall, so Bullet Boy is out of the race. A VSC has been deployed out on track. There has been a mention, by the way, that there is a VSC glitch, so if anybody is seen exceeding the VSC, they will pick up a penalty. I just thought I'll mention that now, in case people tried to do it later on. I should have mentioned that at the start of the race. But IRT Louis leads. He has actually gained as a result of this VSC, which I think should be coming to the end very shortly indeed. They'll recover that Haas, of course. Caesar into the pits in the racing point. He's just came out of the pits actually. Let's see what tyres he's came out on. He's came out on a set of medium compound of tyres out on track, and he's gone ahead of Spag, so essentially he's now got a free pit stop over Spag and Doom out on track. VSC now ending, I hope it will end. It's a very long VSC this. Yeah, now VSC is ended. We're back underway here as RRT Louis has gained as a result. 3.1 seconds the gap now to Montana. It's pretty much how it was, I think, before the safety car came out. Alonso in third. Toxic in fourth. Toxic just running wide there. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. No. You don't want to pick up a penalty there. But as a result of Bullet Boy spinning out of the race, well, Ouija now left in fifth and left in a bit of no man's land. He's got Campbell and Verstappen chased them down. As soon as I say that, Verstappen has gone wide. Verstappen has gone wide there on the hairpin. Just having a look on board with the mini-map. That was through turn 13 onto the exit. Again, I think it's a similar to Bullet Boy moment there for Verstappen. He should have the DRS though on Chapelelli running down the straight. We could have a potential overtake here for the first time in the race. Verstappen and Chapelelli then. Verstappen after his mistake. Chapelelli will defend the outside line. Verstappen having a bit of a half look down the inside. Not going to get the move done now, and Chapelelli holds position for now on the run down towards turn 2. Oh, a bit of a lag there from Chapelelli on Verstappen. Verstappen trying to go down the inside line. Never going to pull that one off. There was hardly enough room there for a car to get through. Verstappen holds on to P13 for now. Cantera making a good stride through the field. He's out on the back of ex-Jarry, and this is for 10th and 11th position. Remember, top 12 out on track do pick up points, so even if you are in a bit of no man's land towards the back of the field, like Caesar, Spag or Doom, essentially with the spinners in front, if there's any potential spinners in front, the guys out on track will pick up the points, pick up the pieces and pick up the points, essentially bring home the bacon out on track. It is worth continuing on because top 12 points can really make a difference. Alphadrix now up to 7th, by the way, as a result of that BSC, but in terms of the championship, he has got all to do to try and maintain that lead of the race. He will maintain the lead coming into tonight, but whether or not that gap will be as strong towards the end of the race, we'll have to see. Alonso trying to get closer to Montana. Montana looks like he's got a good straight line speed setup though, set up on that car. As he now comes through turn 3. Caesar, the new fastest lap of the race, 1:19.1. Betters IRT Louis' lap of a 19.2, which was just recently set. Locking now under pressure from Cohen. Really see the delta time now beginning to come into play, and this is Cohen on the back of Larkin as we go on board with the Red Bull man against Ferrari. Oh, just nearly tapping the inside curb there, Larkin. He afforded to touch that inside curb. He would have probably ended up going for a bit of a spin out on track, but Larkin and Cohen remain as they are. Just catching a little bit of the curb there, actually, Cohen through that corner. Just going to mute my mic for like 20 seconds while I give myself a bit of a nasal inhaler. Cantera down the inside there through turn 13. Good move by the Spaniard. He is up into 10th position out on track. Fantastic move there by Cantera. That's what we like to see. Yellow flag in sector 2. Joom has left the session. Not really happy with his performance there. Cohen is coming at Larkin just ahead. And out on track, Cohen right on the back of Larkin. Alphatrix right on the back of Campbell and Waluigi. It is beginning to really unfold here out on track as now Cohen is down the inside on Larkin, trying to get the move done here. Not going to pull that one off though. Chapelelli and Verstappen fly through turn 3. Not too bad. Joom is back, which I'm very glad to say. Toxic is under all sorts of pressure now though. Sorry, Alonso under all sorts of pressure from Toxic out on track. There's quite a lot of battles now beginning to happen, which I really am greatly appreciated of, because Toxic just kept going the outside curve there. But I'm really appreciative that we have got a bit of battling for you guys out on track. RRT Louis leads. We better start lap 9. Montana in 2nd. Alonso 3rd. Toxic 4th. Looking back, Waluigi 5th. Campbell in 6th. But Alphatrix now going to try and break Campbell and Waluigi's dreams maybe as they come down towards the pit straight. Alphatrix just taking a different line compared to the guys ahead. Campbell trying to size up Waluigi down towards turn 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough. It's really 3/10 or less out of the final corner. A good straight line speed set up through there, and he will really have the run down towards turn 1. Cohen is on the back of Larkin. Breaking a little bit later than Larkin there, and now the Red Bull man right on the back of the Ferrari once again. Cantera and ex-Jarry trying to get involved as well. Chapelelli and Verstappen not too far off either. Chapelelli managed to get back past Verstappen, which I'm pleased to report. The Racing Point driver now into the final point to go in position out on track. So cover through turn 4 and 5 again. Alphatrix just looking like he's in a bit of a hurry out on track. You can see the different driving styles of the two guys ahead compared to Alphatrix. It's really attacking this too much, I think, out on track. Yellow flag in sector 1. Caesar has retired out on track, and will that bring out a VSC or a safety car, I wonder? Don't think it will. He has retired that out on track. Yellow flag in sector 2 is as a result of that. Alphatrix is still on the back of Campbell though. And Campbell in turn is on the back of Waluigi, who I think made a mistake coming through the chicane. The Scotsman right on the back of the Belgian. No safety car, no VSC there. Out on track. RRT Louis still leads. Alonso right on the back of Montana as they come down the straight. We'll cut to Alphatrix and Campbell though in just the meantime. And we'll cut to that now actually as he's right in the slipstream of Campbell. Campbell looking quicker though. Down the straight, just pulling out, and he now pulls out of the slipstream to Waluigi. Gets the move done down the inside. The Red Bull man will get the move done. Very comfortable in the end for the Scotsman. And here comes Alphatrix as well. Waluigi going to lose 2 positions for the price of 1 here. Pretty much like the price of bog rolls here in the UK. But Alphatrix is through, and he's up into 6th position. Cantera and Cohen fighting around the outside. Cantera, great move. Even off track, he had the car ahead. Cantera gets the move done around the outside, using this track extension there to good effect. The car was ahead before we track extended though. That's what I want to write home about my point for. So Cantera at the outside, very good move there, and he's up into 9th position. Cohen made to look pretty ordinary there. Verstappen on the back of Chapelelli in the meantime as well. Lap 11 about to begin. RRT Louis is coming around the final corner now. He leads. Out on track as Chapelelli goes for a bit of a spin. Verstappen very, very close and nearly knocking him into... nearly knocking Chapelelli back on track there. Montana, interestingly though, is into the pits a little bit earlier than expected. So Montana into the pits. Maybe he's picked out a strategy here, and maybe he thinks that the hard compounded tyres is going to go on towards the end of the race. Cantera now looking to get past Larkin. We saw a great move from him around the outside into turn 3, and he now gets the move done down towards turn 1 again. Cantera through, he's up into 7th position. Just going to take a little bit brief break from commentary. My voice is going, so I will come back in just about a minute or so time. We'll ride and bother with Campbell and Alphatrix in the meantime. Alphatrix now all over the back of Campbell as we come through the final corner now out on track. It is Alphatrix right on the back of Campbell, bit of a lag inside there, but Alphatrix now to the inside line. The hards will begin to come into play, and the Ferrari is down the inside of the Red Bull, the Brit down the inside of the Scotsman, and he gets the move done. So Alphatrix through up to P5, we were on board, right place at the right time for that one, good move. Toxic trying to catch Alonso out on track, 1.1 seconds the gap. And with Montana rejoining in 12th position, final point scoring position currently for Montana out on track. It really does beg the question of whether Montana will get those tyres towards the end of the race. Maybe he's going hard now, try and get ILRT Louis to pit, maybe come into the pits, and then we'll see possibility of soft compounder tyres right at the end for Montana to try and catch back up to ILRT Louis. We'll see though, on board with the leader. We'll focus on battles further down the field in just a second. My voice is really going here out on track though. through turn 14 for the final time on this lap anyways. We're on to lap 13 now. ILRT Libby leads from Alonso in second. Toxic in third. Alphatrix now in fourth. Campbell is into the pits however. So Campbell into the pits. Very tricky pit lane here in Hungary. Campbell is through into the pit lane now, so another set of hard compounder tyres then will go onto that car. Yeah, white wall tyres out on track. Xjari trying to catch Cohen though in the meantime down towards turn 1, not going to be quite close enough. But Campbell out of the pits. Spad coming around the final corner, don't think he's going to be close enough. Yeah, Campbell has just actually got out of the pit lane there. Cohen trying to get onto the back of Larkin though. Right on board on the broadcast cam, about halfway through lap 13 for the leaders. Cohen 800th off his personal best at this stage, and the Dutchman trying to gain on Larkin, the Brit ahead, and the Ferrari man having a bit of a revolutionary performance if I've got to be honest here. Larkin tonight, very consistent so far. Obviously he will be prone to in behind the likes of Montana and Campbell undercutting, but Larkin doing a good job. He should be on for top 10 here tonight. ILRT Louis is around the final corner once again. He leads on to lap 14 out on track. Oh, very wide Bowman there from Chapelelli. Good recovery there right from the back of shot. Toxic then into the pits. So Toxic into the pits. And he's going to go on to a set of hard compounded tyres. That now frees up Alphatrix into third. And he's quite a way behind. Cohen is into the pits. Xjari will continue on. So we're on board with Toxic as he comes into the pits. Nobody looking close enough for the move. Toxic will get into relatively clean now, and he's came out probably about 4 or 5 seconds behind Montana there, so not too bad for Toxic as he comes out of the pit lane. And I know Toxic was saying that he was a bit worried coming into tonight's race that he might have under practiced. Currently so far though, he's looking good, and with a good qualifying performance, should be really proud of that one. And I know I'll probably talk to him after the race has finished. Xjari trying to catch on to Larkin though. In the meantime, we've got a bit of a battle between two QVR drivers, albeit in different teams. It's Verstappen and Cohen out on track. Toro Rosso against Red Bull. We've seen a good battle between these two before. I think it was in Germany actually last time out we saw these two battle it out. But Verstappen and Cohen 4.5 tenths away as they come through on relatively fresh tyres, Cohen, compared to Verstappen. I think Cohen has recently just exited the pit lane, so obviously Verstappen is in P12, as we'll see Alonso into the pit lane then, so the Haas is into the pits. Everyone, bar ILRT Louis out of the front pack, has really pitted in so far. It's really AlphaTrix downwards that you've got to be worried about in this race now. ILRT Louis then leads quite comfortably out on track. Just having a look at the comments that have been coming through. The pit window for mediums is anywhere up to 16 laps. Yeah, I think in terms of general stuff though, in terms of the mediums, that's exactly what we've been seeing. Completely right about that. And we're on lap 15 now. Did say about lap 14 and 15 is when a majority of the drivers would come into the pits, and that's what we've seen so far out on track. Maybe putting a lap or two earlier, but ILRT Louis hopefully looking to try and go out on track. And Louis is a machine. He is. He's like one of those artificial intelligence robots that you get performing human duties out on track. That's all I can really say to him. And he's coming into the pit. So ILRT Louis, the race leader, is into the pit. We'll catch on both though with the battle between X-Jarry and Larkin. What does X-Jarry do though in this stage? He is catching Larkin, but those mediums probably won't last the next 2 or 3 laps or so if he wants to try and get him. So X-Jarry's just got to be careful that he maintains the compound of tyres. And he's going to try and continue on chasing on Larkin while Luigi's into the pit as well. So X-Jarry actually, then his teammate, he's got right of way to pit in front of him to come in to the pits before him. Montana right on the back of Schiaparelli, though running down towards turn 1. It's Germany, it's the German against the Swiss. Out on track, the Swiss man right on the back of the German. Schiaparelli looking good at this stage. Ooh, just runs onto the curb there. Down towards the kick of turn 2. Montana goes well too deep into the corner, but prioritised the exit of the corner. ILRT Louis, by the way, came out in relatively clean now. He's just in behind Cantera out on track. He is on a fresh set of those hard compound of tyres. Schiaparelli, 3-second time penalty there through turn 4. Haven't seen that many penalties through there, to be honest, tonight. As Montana looking a little bit impatient, if I've got to be honest, as he always does when he tries to get past somebody on a slower compound of tyres than him. Montana right on the back of Schiaparelli. We've got Louis right on the back of Cantera as well. This is obviously going to be not for position in general terms, because ILRT Louis is going to completely undercut as the sun tries to break through here at the Hungaroring. We approach halfway. Cantera comes into the pit, so Cantera in a little bit earlier than what I even would have expected. Schiaparelli is coming in as well. X-Jarry is in. So Montana now frees up. So the hard compound of tyres not really lasting that much, to be honest. AlphaTrix now leads though. ILRT Louis in second. Larkin in third. Montana in fourth. Alonso trying to gain on Montana. He has also a little bit underneath the pit stops, but that's probably because Alonso pitted in later than Montana. He is on the fresher set of tyres down though, and could try and catch Montana. So we see a battle down into turn 1 between Verstappen and Cohen once again. Coming now down towards turn 2. And Cohen right on the back of Verstappen. This is the current 10th and 11th position. I think AlphaTrix and Larkin, once they come into the bit, they'll be in and around this sort of area. You should be seeing these guys in theoretical terms being about 8th or 9th out on track. And that's really good for these guys out on track. They've got a little bit of buffer, as I like to call it, ahead as well. Cantera on a set of medium compound of tyres. Verstappen and Cohen, or Verstappen just goes completely over the curb there. Unfortunately for him, we saw that on the stream from Cohen's perspective, so he hasn't got to worry with that one at all. Cohen then right on the back of Verstappen still though, and if you're just tuning in to the live stream for Division 1, then good evening. Where have you been all of this time? Hopefully just having came in for from walking the dogs. But up 18 out of 35, so we are now officially through halfway. AlphaTrix leads from ILRT Louis in second. Larkin in third, still yet to pit, as is AlphaTrix. Montana in fourth, with Alonso in fifth. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and it's June once again round in sector 2. He left the session, then rejoined. I think honestly he might be worth trying to continue on. Fastest lap point I think might be available for him. That's about as best as he think he can hope for at this stage. We'll catch on board though with Alonso, who is just breaking into the 9/10 margin there on Montana. The German beginning to catch on Montana. And let's have a look at race director and really see at this halfway stage what penalties everyone has got. Alphatrix has picked up nothing so far. 2 warnings for LRT Louis, 2 warnings for Larkin. Montana's got 1 warning. Alonso has got 2. Toxic has got a penalty, but that was earlier on in the race. Campbell has picked up 3 warnings, while Luigi has picked up 1 warning. That was on this lap. Cantera's picked up 2 warnings. Verstappen has picked up a warning. Cohen has picked up nothing. Good to see. Xjari's picked up 2 warnings. Chapelelli has picked up a penalty. Spag out on track has picked up 2 warnings. Not doing too bad of a debut, to be honest there. Doom with a warning, Caesar and Bullet Boy out of the race. So not really many penalties to write home about. Alphatrix in the meantime has pitted in while I gave that penalty output, and he's back out in clear air. So Alphatrix back out in clear air. That's exactly what he wanted. 16 laps on a set of mediums is pushing it just slightly, but I'm sure those tyres can get to the end. What I was saying earlier on, if you didn't catch what I said earlier on, in terms of the tyres, between the mediums and the hards, the mediums tend to wear out at about a 3-4% rate. So if you add that up amongst 10 laps, they'll be at about a 40% tyre degradation, I think, out on track by lap 29. So 40% of tyres, then they begin to degrade at a bit of a faster rate. So it'll be about 4-5% when they start to go off. And Alonso, trying to catch Montana really off guard, and he's on a set of hard compound of tyres out on track. This is one of the closest battles out on track, but we'll go on board with Cantera to really write home the point. He's on a fresher set of medium compound of tyres. Now the Delta, like we like to call in Formula 1, will bear in mind the favour, in favour of the Spaniard, who is on the back of, well, Luigi, you can see Larkin is into the pits as well, so he should be coming in and around the Cohen Chapelelli sort of area in terms of that. Cantera though, around the final corner, last week's race winner in Germany, looking to pull off an easy move on the Belgian, and well, he just absolutely sailed past him. Nothing really that I can say much about that. That was like a jet-propelled move down the inside, and Cantera gets the move done, and he's up into 7th position. Easy as you like. Larkin has actually just came out behind Xjari out on track, so kind of in and around the area that I would have wanted them, or I expect them to come in. Nothing to talk about really in terms of the lead of the race, I'm afraid. Alonso trying to catch Montana though for second. LRT Louis leads on lap 20, about to reach lap 21, which is about 3/5 distance if you've been keeping an eye on your lap times and if you've been watching on board with your fractions. Alonso right on the back then of Montana, but also Alphatrix is on the back of Toxic, and this is going to be quite intriguing between these two. I was watching Toxic on Thursday night in TTL F1. He has been a little bit aggressive with drivers recently in terms of defending positions. Are we going to see the same tonight, I wonder, here in League of Division 1, or is Alphatrix just going to sail past him? Montana is under pressure from Alonso, down towards turn 1 as well. Alonso very late on the brakes, the German, not going to pull off the move there, but Alphatrix has pulled off the move. We've missed the entire move as a result of Alonso attacking the back, and he's now on the right hand side as he comes down towards turn 2. Alonso with the better traction, trying to go all the way around the outside. Montana, a bit of snap of oversteer. These two beginning to battle. There's all sorts of battles beginning to kick off further down the field. Xjari has lost a position to Larkin. I think Chapelelli has gone through on Cohen as well. Alonso with a little bit of a mistake there through turn 4, and that now brings Montana back into second place quite comfortably. But now they've got a charging Brit coming right up their backsides out on track. A bit of a corner cut there from Alphatrix. Really track extending too much, I think, out on track. We saw it in qualifying with him through turn 12. That was the cut of the chicane through turn 8 that time, or through turn 7 even. Alphatrix catching on the back. Beautiful helicopter cam there, 1.7. Look at the gap that Alphatrix is gaining, and again running wide at turn 12. I'm not sure what really is his problem running wide through turn 12, and I'm sure you guys will probably pick up on that as well. It has been quite a common theme, if I've got to be honest, from him tonight, so the stewards might just want to have a bit of a look at that. Chapelelli in the meantime though, on the back of Verstappen. Sun gleaming down here in Hungary. Now I'll see Louis leads for Montana in second. Alonso third. They'll stay as they are, but Chapelelli, the German, right on the back of the Dutchman here out on track. Chapelelli pretty much disrupting the battle between Verstappen and Cohen with the pressure tyres. And now the German tries to go around the outside of the Dutchman. Clean as you like, and he will get the move done, I think, down towards turn 2, if not before the corner, and he does. And Chapelelli clean through around the outside. That's what we like to see. Good, clean, fair racing out on track. Probably, again, one of the cleanest races I've seen all season here in Division 1. Chapelelli's 3 minutes up to 9th. Montana then under pressure from Alonso and Alphatrix, and Montana really beginning to lose those tyres. I think if he's got any hope and consideration to try and defend off these guys, it would be now. But what we are going to see is the champion-elect in Alphatrix. Currently as it stands, he's championship leader, so that's why I'm calling him champion-elect, against Montana, champion of last season. It's what we've dreamt about this season. We haven't really seen a full-blown battle between them both. Alphatrix is going to make mincemeat, I think, running down the straight of Alonso. Oh, easy, he passed the Ferrari down the inside on Alonso, and that is probably one of the easiest moves you might see all night. Alphatrix down the inside, but this now really creates a scenario where we've been wanting it for the rest of the season. We've had it before, but in a shorter lap term. Montana and Alphatrix. Montana, what he's got to do now is hold up Alphatrix. Alphatrix will then be frustrated in behind Montana, and these two will then begin to fight, and they'll try and begin to pull away from Alonso in the meantime as well. But the battle really begins on, and you can see the traction that the Ferrari has got in comparison to the McLaren. No way through, a little bit of contact there between Alphatrix again, just being a little bit on the powerful side in terms of the throttle. Well, Montana hanging on for now, but we should get side by side down the straight. I can really guarantee you that now. We're going to get side by side down the straight, I think, in one way or another. Montana defending off Alphatrix. You can see how much time this is costing Alphatrix. I don't think he's got a chance to win this race, actually, Alphatrix now. But this is it. Montana and Alphatrix about to battle here. Alonso not too far off either. Alonso, Alphatrix, Montana running down the straight. It's side by side. There's not much between them, actually. Alphatrix to the inside then. And the Brit is through on the Smithman, and he's up into the second position. So makes it look pretty easy, in fact. And I think that is probably the battle over and done with before it's even begun. It's now going to be Montana and Alonso, however, though, beginning to battle. You can see now he's in that clear air. Alphatrix has just left them for absolute dead out on track. There was a yellow flag in Sector 1, which I do believe might have been Doom letting through some of the leaders. RRT Louis has picked up a 3-second time penalty out on track. 13.7 seconds. With the delta time, just to speak about the leaders, Louis is Toxic is round. Toxic's round at turn 7. That's a bit of a weird place to go off, to be honest. No puncture or anything from Toxic. Might have just got caught in the curve and went straight on, I think. But Verstappen and Larkin. Verstappen really holding up Larkin here. Hasn't got any from wing damage as Larkin tries to get through on the inside. Verstappen really frustrating the Ferrari man here out on track. And this is a 4-car train leading all the way back to Xjari out on track. Larkin then on the back of Verstappen as he comes through the final couple of corners that I think is due just in behind these guys out on track. Yeah, Cantera is running down the straight, so that will make sense. Larkin then on the back of Verstappen, trying to make sure he's got a bit of a car gap down the inside. And now Larkin and Verstappen down the straight. He's got the straight line speed. You would think with the DRS, Larkin has got the straight line speed. Verstappen though on the brakes can try and switch it back through turn 1, but Larkin has got the move done and he's up into 10th position. He'll do something similar to what we saw with Alphatrix a lap ago and now begin to pull away on that fresh set of medium compound tyres. Verstappen trying his best to try and stay with him. Runs a little bit wide there, and he is trying to keep up, actually. Full credit to him if he did. But Larkin runs wide through turn 4. Verstappen is still right on the back. But these guys now in a bit of a tricky scenario. We'll go back on board with the battle for 2nd out on track. In fact, actually, no, we'll go on board with the battle for 8th and 9th between Toxic and Chapelelli out on track. It is Toxic against Chapelelli. 4.5 tenths separating as they come through. And looking at what you guys have been saying in the comment section, nothing really been said in the comment section for a little bit of a while. I think you've just taken the hint that the action is so good that you're trying to watch the action here out on track. Yellow flag in sector 3 has gone, so I'm not sure what that one was about. Ciappellelli though right on the back. Will cut though to Alonso and Montana, who again tries to get down the inside in towards turn 2. Not going to be close enough though. Now through turn 3. Spag has picked up a 3-second time for the out on track. I feel sorry for Lenny, to be honest, out on track. Really on his lonesome. And I'm sure it will get better. I am sure of that. League of Europe always likes to produce some great racing. I know the more practice that is put in by Lenny, the better he will become in League of Europe. And hopefully, although this race has been, from probably his point of view, a bit of a disaster and not what he was expecting, it's only his first race, remember, in League of Europe. And this is what I mean. The general trend, I think, this season is when newcomers decide to come in, except for Marlotti Libby, who came in and rocketed through 4 wins in a row. Newcomers find it very difficult to come in at quite a late stage in the season. We're now at round 11, obviously in Hungary. Alonso right on the back of Montana though in the meantime. As we come down the straight, I'll cut to what I was saying in just a second, but Alonso trying to get on Montana. Is he going to be close enough? Montana feels the need to defend the inside as Alonso tries to get him around the outside. Could be side by side then towards turn 2 here. Alonso needs to run in that slipstream to have any sort of chance to go around the outside of Montana. Montana is a very good defender and he puts that car as wide as possible in front, and now the McLaren and the Haas begin to battle on the road up towards turn 4. As I was saying, the general trend between the newcomers coming into track is most newcomers find it difficult on their first race in League of Europe, and then it gets better for them from there. I've seen it consistently this season, and you can have a look at the standings for yourself on F1 leagueofeurope.wordpress.com and have a look through the Discord on that, and you can see, really, you'll see the trend that I was on about between newcomers coming into the season, especially at this late stage of the season. It's almost as if they're getting a bit of baptism of fire out on track. For Alonso and Montana in the meantime, the battle for third is still raging on. There are other battles further down the field. We'll cut to them in just a second though, so I really want to see if Alonso has got the balls to try and pull off the move on Montana. He's been close about 3 or 4 times now, and Montana getting the better X out of the final corner, opts to run pretty much adjacent to the pit wall, but look at Alonso's closing speed, closing them down. Not going to be close enough down towards turn 1 though. Oh, actually giving him a bit of a tap. I don't think Alonso was expecting Montana to go that slow through turn 1. And now down the hill towards turn 2. Oh, Ciappellelli comes in on Toxic very late there. Ciappellelli, not sure if he tried to go for the inside line on Toxic. We caught on board with that quite late. It looked like to me Ciappellelli was trying to go for a gap that really wasn't there out on track, and the German has got left side end plate damage as well now out on track, and it's unfortunate for Ciappellelli, but that's what you get if you are just that little bit impatient out on track. That's all I'm going to say on that. But if you're just that little bit of impatient, and if you really don't want to drive clean and essentially force drivers out of the way, that's not how to play by the rules. Playing by the rules is getting the clean, fair move out on track. And Ciappellelli, I think, put it down the inside there. He realised it. He got caught in a bit of a half spin, recovered the car, but left side end plate damage to the end. He is going to be back down in 13th before he knows it, I think. And Alonso out on track, trying to get Montana. Larkin, though, is on the back of Ciappellelli. You can see how much that German, how much that Racing Point is struggling out on track. Racing Point will be hoping for better luck. Otherwise, Ciappellelli in the season might be out of a job right at the end of the season. But Larkin right on the back of Ciappellelli. And Larkin doesn't decide to go down the inside. The car length was there down the inside, but now Larkin running down towards turn 2. Ciappellelli comes across. Larkin going to have to go quite offensive around the outside, but Ciappellelli, knowing that he's got the front wing damage, shouldn't really be putting up for the fight. I'm not sure what his game plan here is out on track. And Larkin might just feel hard done by. 3-second time penalty is going from bad to worse for the German, who obviously finished second in Britain just 2 races ago. This, I've got to admit, is a totally different side to him. Larkin right on the back of Schiaparelli though, still for 9th and 10th position. We'll cut on board with the Montana and Alonso battle because that is beginning to really heat up out on track once again. Larkin will feel hard done by though. Schiaparelli did have right to defend the way in which he did, but Schiaparelli essentially had to cover him up. I don't like that, to be honest, in terms of drivers. I've been on the receiving end for that, and normally it ends up in contact. And that's what I think we saw as Alonso is through on Montana, is he? Montana and Alonso going side by side. And Montana back through on the inside, switched it back down through turn 1. We missed that, and he's down the inside and parks the car on the apex. And Alonso is not going to be happy with this one. Larkin has managed to get the move done on Schiaparelli though, down the inside. And the Ferrari man is through and up into 9th position out on track. So he had to wait to an extra lap or so, but Larkin managed to get the move done, and a very clean move at that. Schiaparelli trying now to defend off the pressures of Verstappen, Cohen and next Jarry. In terms of Schiaparelli's size though, I think there shouldn't be no problem. He might stay in that position towards the end of the race. Montana though and Alonso beginning to battle. Alpha Tricks, by the way, it was 13 seconds that gap, it's now an 11.5, but you can tell he's going to have to catch at about 2.5 seconds, pretty much a lap to even try and gain on LRT Louis, who comes on to lap 31. 4 more laps to go for him. But Alonso and Montana, these two have been battling now pretty much since they came into the pits. Montana just gets caught on the inside curb. This will force Alonso to the inside line. I think Montana knows what's coming. Alonso is alongside. He's got the car ahead going down towards turn 1. Montana though trying to very bold around the outside. Alonso on the inside line. Montana trying to get the traction. This is great racing between them both, running down towards turn 2. Montana on the inside line. Alonso not giving up this one without a fight. Montana forcing the car down the inside. The German trying to nick it up the inside. Great racing between them both. Cantera wetting his lips at this stage, and somehow the defending champion Montana has pulled that off. Unbelievable stuff. That is why he's the defending champion out on track. If anybody doubted him, don't doubt him now as a result of that defensive move. That was brilliant from Montana, and he's still in 3rd position. Alonso 4th, but Cantera wetting his lips at this stage of the race. 18 laps of mediums will probably be very warm to the end, but by the judgment of these two battling out on track, this could create shockwaves for Cantera for another potential podium here after winning last summer in Germany. At 32 then has just begun for the leader, LRT Louis. Alpha Tricks just came across the line there in second on his pursuit to try and master LRT Louis. Montana low in 3rd, and I've got to be honest, Alpha Tricks' strategy, he came in later than everyone else, and he's done a set of mediums. He's done a great job to get that up into 2nd position. Alonso though, Montana feels the need to defend to the inside line. You saw the sharp movement on the McLaren to try and defend off the position, and that defensive move was a little bit easier than the last one. Down the inside though into turn 2 again. And again, Montana just defending, making that McLaren look as wide as possible, almost looking like it's got 8 wheels rather than 4. Toxic is trying to battle Waluigi as well, and Toxic still trying to go in with the fight here in terms of 7th and 8th. It was unlucky that he got caught in that spin, because I think if he didn't get caught up in that spin, he would be towards the battle for 3rd at this stage, and Toxic unlucky. It's what I've spoke about, I think, in qualifying with him. Just being a little bit unlucky in races here in League of Europe, and when I was reading that, the standings especially. But Toxic has got, on his day, pace. And that's a real good factor to have. And he's got 18 lap all hards on him, but he's still trying to put up a fight to Waluigi. And that was looking quite close about half a lap or so ago. 3 more laps then to go. LRT Louis leads from Alpha Tricks in 2nd, Montana in 3rd, Alonso 4th, Cantera in 5th. Campbell in 6th, and now Alonso trying to get closer down towards turn 1. There is a yellow flag. Schiaparelli might have made a mistake there through turn 12. He's let a couple of the guys through. Montana again though defends, and look at Cantera on the back. Cut Campbell by mistake there. Toxic is down the inside though on Waluigi, gets the move done. trying to keep up with it all. Cantera not going to go for the move there though on Alonso. The Toxic is through. In the meantime, he's up into 7th position. There are battles happening left, right and centre. Quite literally here out on track in Division 1. Oh, Montana, Alonso, Cantera, 3rd, 4th and 5th currently out on track. Hopefully you guys have liked this stream enough to give it a like, comment and subscribe, of course, if you are new, and tick that notification bell. Of course, it is much better to stay in the house, put on your favourite Saturday night league in League of Europe, and listen to probably one of the best commentators out there. I think that is the order of the day. If you want to get a takeaway or anything with that, by all means do so, because I think we'll be in for the long haul in terms of what's happening out in real life. Alonso right on the back though of Montana. Cantera still wetting his lips at this stage. We'll take it on board actually with the Spaniard, who looks slightly lethargic down the straight, but that's because these two are pulling away. Montana and Alonso. Alonso to the outside line, Montana on the inside line, and again defends it, but has he defended enough? Because Alonso is still there on the inside. Montana will have to do it the hard way around the outside. I think Alonso has got this move done down the inside. The German has finally got it done. About time as well. Right at the death, Alonso is through and he's up to P3. Cantera, can he now get past Montana? Montana's tyres are going off the cliff. You can tell in the freshness of those hards that Alonso has got. Montana has got nothing really more to give. But in terms of tyre degradation between 4th and 5th, Montana and Cantera, these guys will be at around the same level. Trust me on that. Montana and Cantera. The Swiss man still not giving up without a fight. We're on to the final lap though. LRT Louis in towards turn 1 for the final time, and it's been an utterly dominant race from him. Alphatrix has just gone and set the new fastest lap of the race. That might be bettered though by Schiaparelli on his lap. Through the final corner now though, Montana and Cantera. We saw this one before last week in Germany between these two. Montana's got the DRS, but look at Cantera's closing speed. Montana feels necessary to cover off the inside on the Spaniard, going around the outside. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. Not yet. Can he get the run down towards turn 2? I don't think he can. So Cantera's opportunity now for 4th position, maybe even for 3rd, rests on penalties, I think, because I can't see any other overtakes happening out on track now. LRT Louis though is coming round turn 12 for the final time. A dramatic race here at the Hungaro Ring and Magno Naladec. And LRT Louis coming round the final 2 corners now. It's been an utterly dominant success. It's been a fantastic win from out on track, back to winning ways. LRT Louis round the final corner, dominates in Hungary. Fantastic win for the Brit as Joom has retired from the session through turn 4. Alphatrix with a great tactical drive in 2nd. Got within 12 seconds of Alphatrix, within LRT Louis, that cut down to 9.2. Alonso, Montana and Cantera. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be robbed of the battle between Montana and Cantera. If only this race could go on for a couple of more laps longer, then they would have been the case. But Alonso across the line to finish in 3rd, Montana in 4th, Cantera in 5th. They didn't pick up any penalties. Campbell across the line in 6th. Toxic a good recovery in 7th. I think he'll get outdone on penalties by Waluigi though. Should be proud of that performance. Larkin across the line in 9th. Verstappen across the line in 10th. Cohen across the line 11th. Xjavi across the line in 12th. Now we'll see if Schiaparelli will get the fastest lap of the race. So fastest lap of the race currently goes to Alphatrix on a 1:17.6. Bear in mind, I think he was 1.2 seconds up in the middle sector. Can the German now get the fastest lap of the race? Essentially, it's like a qualifying lap from out on track. Schiaparelli, I think he's going to beat Alphatrix for fastest lap quite comfortably as well. 17 flat in the end. Finishes in 13th. 5-second time penalty unserved. And Spag and Chips, Lenny coming across the line to actually gain on Schiaparelli and pick up P13 out on track on his debut. But I'm sure it will get better from him as the weeks progress. But it is Brendan Louis who gets to the top of the standings again. I've been very used to saying this. It's his 5th win of the season. And since joining League of Europe, he has been an absolute revelation out on track. He closes the gap to Alphatrix by 7 points out on track. But, my God, ILRT Louis dominated that one with, in second, of course, out on track. Fantastic racing. And it was Alphatrix who got second. And Alonso eventually got third. I get more XP there. ILRT Louis though takes the way and out on track, even with a 3-second time penalty, it didn't stop him. He won from Alphatrix in second, Alonso in third, Montana in fourth, Cantera in fifth, Campbell in sixth, Luigi 7th, Toxic in 8th, Larkin in 9th, Verstappen ran off the top 10, remember top 12 get points, so Cohen and ex-Jerry pick up 2 and 1 respectively. Spag and Chips in 13th, Lenny there, and Chapelelli in 14th out on track. Doom, Caesar, Bullet Boy, all retiring at various points in the race. They did manage to get through lap 1 very cleanly. On whole, very clean race out on track from our Division 1 guys. Of course, if you do want to follow more action going on out on track here on the League of Europe channel, then tune in to Division 2 and Division 4. They'll be coming up for you in about 6 minutes time on the YouTube channel. Of course, if you do want to follow the league as well, you can follow the league on Twitter. It is at League of Europe, at League of Europe if you want to follow on Twitter. At B52Head is my Twitter if you want to try and follow me on Twitter, which would be fantastic if you could. But that is it for tonight. What fantastic racing we have had from the majority of the drivers out on track. Fantastic racing. We go to Belgium next week, where there is possibility that we could have a wet race. So we could be back to the wet division, as I like to call it now, and it's like other people called it earlier on in the comment section. But thank you very much for watching here. Hopefully we've provided you with a smile on your face and to go to further action with. So from me, JamesHead14, I will bid you farewell for tonight. Do tune in though to League of Europe's Formula 2 Championship on Monday, and I'll be taking you through that one as well. But for now, I've been James Head. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.